Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday, and that means it's time for the Wrestling Inc. NXT after show. And have we got a show for you? We've got issues with Tony D in the family. We've got Metaphor having problems, and we also have a interim Heritage Championship match. That's right, I said interim Heritage Championship match. But before we get into all of that, allow me to introduce the folks here. I'm Jack Farmer, being joined by none other than This Is Nasty, Alfred, and of course the NYC Demon Diva, Issa. Before we get into everything, how are you guys doing? Alfred, how have you been, old chum?
Great. It was a wonderful birthday weekend. I feel younger. I feel more spry. But thank you all for the birthday wishes. I've been doing great, and I continue to do great. Good to see you, Jack.
It's good to see you as well. I saw a friend of the show, Flobo, today for lunch, who just had a birthday, and he saw me warned by someone about a puddle of water that it was slippery. Me acknowledge this and still slip in the puddle of water. It was very embarrassing. Issa, speaking of me slipping and falling down, how are you doing, Issa?
I'm doing great, Jack. Thank you for asking.
We have a great show lined up, as said. Thank you to everyone who's joining us here in the chat. We got a roll call in a little bit, but before we do, again, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, copy the link and throw it into social media. Tell everyone to join the NXT after party here at Wrestling Inc. But before we talk about the show, Alfred, I know you're a journalist. You have all the scoops. Tell us what's going on in the world of wrestling news.
It's all just gossip, Jack, unless I'm doing it, of course. But there is some news. We do have a big news. The big news today, we'll lead off, is bad news for AEW Collision. Week 2 is a big week for this show. Of course, they premiered last week to a big number, as most premieres do, 816,000. Even beat AEW Dynamite in the 18-49 with a 0.33, which I thought was a very good number. But it's back to reality, and they really plummeted. Week 2 for AEW Collision, 595,000. That is down 27% total and 30% in the demo. So it really took a dive. Of course, AEW Collision had CM Punk on it, and it's going to be a show centered on him. It was an 8-man tag main event. So this number really does tell me that people saw last week, they watched this week, and they figured, oh, this is going to be more like Rampage, and you cannot have that anytime for AEW Collision, let alone this early in the show. So they're really going to need to go back to the drawing board on Dynamite. I really expect them to really go hard in promoting AEW Collision because this is not a good sign for the amount of people who have dropped off from week 1 to week 2. Issa.
I wish we had like the video clip of Nate Diaz saying, "I'm not surprised, MF." I'm not surprised. This show's on a Saturday. I don't think that Collision is gonna do insane numbers. Regardless, I think Collision is gonna be more of a DVR style show. I think Curiosity got the best of people for night 1, but I haven't been able to catch any Collision because unlike other people, I have a life on the weekends.
Shots fired.
Meaning I'm covering wrestling live instead of on TV. That's the only difference. I'm actually at the events and not sitting here. But I really have a hard time. And I think even if I didn't have anything going on a Saturday night, I would still probably watch it on a Sunday morning. And Justin Roberts, I wish I was. Thank you.
That's how I feel. Even if I was, that's what I do with most Friday shows. Is I typically watch it the next day just because it's a weird time slot. I think 500, it is much less than the 800 they had the previous week. I think 500, if they kept 500, I think that would be a huge win for AEW, to be totally honest. I think that's a great number for Saturday. I got a feeling next week will probably be even lower. I'm not a ratings guru. I know in pro wrestling, sometimes that's like a whole scientific niche that people get into. So I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off, but I feel like 500,000 is actually a pretty good number for a Saturday. I'd imagine they're going to be around 250, but I'm just making that up off the top of my head. I have no basis.
250, damn.
That's a Rampage number.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think for a Saturday, like here on the West Coast, Saturday afternoon, I would think that's.
If it was on an afternoon for me, I would actually watch it because that's when I'm getting ready.
So I think there's a lot of families and stuff, and people like out doing stuff. Or
what do you do on Saturdays, Jack?
I do wrestling stuff.
Same.
I mean, I'm working on Saturdays personally most of the time.
I don't know. I just have a hard time with, but I'm not shocked by the number. Now 200,000 will be just suicidal in my opinion.
I would be fine. Now, if they settled into 595,000 months and months from now, if this was the base that they go into the NFL season with, okay, that's one thing. But the fact that it's already eroding here, I mean, if it does go to that 200-300 range, that's not a good thing at all. They did not build this to be another Rampage, and that's where it's trending based on week 1 to week 2.
Now, I mean, I think next weekend is going to hurt them being a holiday, but do you think that because last year, without Collision, the ratings did go down tremendously during the build-up for Forbidden Door, because not everybody's watching New Japan. So maybe let's see where they go after the 4th of July weekend, because I just think that a lot of people are not interested in that. I'm sorry, the Forbidden Door is great, but it's for a very specific.
It's for a niche audience, yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are talking about how the NFL season's coming to get them. This sport, that forget any of these sports, man. They're going head to head with SummerSlam in a month, and that could be a disaster if they don't get their ish together and start booking. Like, you know, I like the fact that they had the title change on the first show, but the TNT title, with all due respect to Wardlow, they have cooled him off, and he has not been the level of star as he was in recent years.
Yeah,
my voice.
No, it was me. It was me. My phone just started playing by itself for no reason.
I'm not complaining.
I'm curious, everyone in the chat too, let us know. I mean, all aside about the time slot and everything else, just what you've seen on Collision. Is it something that would make you want to tune in?
Watching it, Jack. Anyway.
Well, so no, everyone in the chat. Well, 500,000 people watched it. Someone watched it. So for those of you who watched Collision, are they doing something that makes you want to keep watching Collision, whether it's live or taped or anything? Are the stories and the wrestling, is that tuning you in or tuning you out?
I will say I do see some positive feedback about Collision from the people that do watch it and are on social media about it. It seems to appear to be a different show. It gives a different vibe, and that I appreciate.
I've seen both shows, both on delay, and I enjoyed them both. I thought it was great timing for CM Punk in particular, because the first show he's in Chicago in his backyard, they love him. The second show he's in Kenny Omega's backyard, they hate him. And so it's a fun show to watch. I think where they're going wrong is they're doing the main event for the first show was a 6-man tag. The main event for the second show was an 8-man tag. So that's like B show formula. You cannot have that type of like non-stakes match to lead your first big show. So I really do think that in these main events, CM Punk one-on-one with some stakes, with the title on the line, with something that makes you need to tune in.
What title? Yeah. The TNT title?
Yeah, who knows? Something.
Who knows? I agree. I agree. Main events that are big multi-person matches never feel like they're as serious as a singles match. Like Jay White versus CM Punk feels way bigger than CM Punk and FTR versus Jay White. And
unless you build a good story, because the last time that felt like a big deal was WrestleMania with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Usos. That match did deserve to main event because he had a great storyline behind it.
It's the second week. How much do you have had time to build a story? That's
we know about it.
To like a 3-year long
They
story.
had Collision announcements for 4 weeks in a row in Dynamite. And you mean to tell me none of them could have been a main event worthy match?
That is not the same as the Bloodline. Come on.
Yeah, nothing is going to... First of all, thinking that Dynamite would ever be able to produce something like that. My point is that you can make a multi-man match interesting.
I can see where both of you in the middle, not just be a pacifist. I think it's unfair to compare them to a Bloodline story, but they should put the emphasis on story, and they did have time to at least build something really big for this first Collision show.
I literally said the last time that a multi-man match felt like it mattered was the Bloodline and Sami Zayn. I never compare. I said it is literally the last time that the tag team division mattered anywhere. Thank you.
Well, in any case, it sounds like there's a lot of people saying that they will be watching Collision on taped.
I've watched both episodes on tape, on delay.
I can't watch anything taped because of the spoilers. What's the point?
You got to avoid social media.
I do at all costs, and I still somehow find out.
Lego Brick Collector. Roman Reigns is a solution for all of our problems.
At least mine.
Awesome. Well, what other news we got, Alfred?
Well, from bad news to AEW, there's very good news for Raw. Raw did a fantastic number and it had a lot of competition. I don't think it went head-to-head with The Bachelorette, but it did go head-to-head with a lot of ABC shows, and there was a lot of competition on Monday, and Raw averaged 1.973 million, just under 2 million, 791,000 in the key demo. I believe that was a 0.61, so a monster number for Raw headed in to the O2 Arena at Money in the Bank. And this just tells me, I've been expecting a big number for SmackDown for a while now, just looking at kind of the pattern, the fact they're going to be in the O2, they're going to have Roman Reigns. That SmackDown number, I've got very, very, very lofty expectations for. And seeing what Raw did for its go-home show, SmackDown, I think, is going to knock it out of the park from the O2 Arena. I think that's going to be a really hot show, Issa.
I think it is too. I mean, obviously we'll have to avoid some of the spoilers, but I think SmackDown is gonna do great. I'm not surprised. Your boy Cody Rhodes brought his dog. Look at the ratings. Dogs equal ratings. Let's have pet day on Monday Night Raw. Have everybody brings their pets, and I guarantee you we'll hit the 2 million.
Let's go, Pharaoh. They wanted to see Cody in his hometown. That's all it was. That's
Pharaoh looked fantastic, and I think Cody's trying to get back on my good side, and that is exactly the way to go about it.
I'll tell you, if you had a wrestling company that was all just dogs,
God, I would love it so
much.
I would love it.
Done.
Pharaoh was my favorite part of being the elite when I was watching it religiously. Yep. Particularly his angle with MJF, where MJF would be really nice to Pharaoh, to Cody's face, and when Cody would turn around, he'd like throw the meat away, and he'd just be really mean to the dog.
It was so good. I felt so bad when they did when they had that entrance that went very wrong. And I felt the pain from everybody's like perspective, because I would assume that he wasn't expecting Pharaoh to react that way, but I just miss seeing Pharaoh on TV, and I gotta tell you, I had a pop when I saw it. I was like, oh, for the dog, I love you again, Cody.
WWE's cooking though. I mean, I know everyone's gonna say after talking about bad ratings for Collision, or down ratings for Collision, good ratings for Raw. I know everyone's gonna say that we're bias and Vince McMahon is in our pockets, but
we're shills, Jack. That's the word that they use. The
I
kids say shills.
How dare you criticize AEW?
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I'm not getting paid by anybody, but let me tell you, if they offered, I'd take the money. Come on. Come on. Who are we kidding here? But WWE's cooking right now. Everything they're doing is just, it's crazy how they're firing on all cylinders. Everything they're doing is great. I mean, not everything. There are certain things that I'm not super thrilled about, but for them as a brand, crushing it.
Yeah, I feel like WWE feels like it has some momentum. You can feel it. You can feel it shifting. There's some momentum happening. It seems cool against. They got some mainstream people getting involved. It's fun. It's fun.
You can see it too. Look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Raw's rating, monster ratings. SmackDown's done a few monster ratings in the last month. And NXT had a record rating, a 2-year high from last week, obviously, with the Seth Rollins effect. But, you know, Jack, you talked about some of the things that you might have a gripe about when it comes to WWE. And this might be one of them that I think a lot of people are nervous about, at least, and that Vince McMahon is now getting more and more involved in the product. We see those hilarious Vince McMahon makes changes to the company he owns stories as if it's news that a chairman is making changes to a show he owns. But this sounds like it's a developing story in terms of Vince McMahon being back. There's recently a report that Vince McMahon the shows are being Vince-proofed, in that Vince McMahon does not like to change matches that have already been advertised. So now WWE is trying to advertise as many matches as possible in advance to avoid Vince changing too much. Last night was said to be a Raw that Vince McMahon had his fingerprints all over, and that's just going to continue to be a thing. We've heard this story since April, and it has not affected WWE's ratings one iota. We'll start with you, Jack. What are your thoughts of Vince McMahon hovering around the product?
Of Vince being involved?
Yeah.
Just. Oh wait.
Oh,
I love it. I love Vince being involved. Very good stuff. I want him more involved, to keep him around as much as possible.
Did I see a C note there? How much are they paying you? That I got to get on the phone with Stanford. That's not how much they're paying me.
It's so yeah, I think it's great. More Vince, please.
I love that take.
I do want to say real quick, we got some super chats in here. Did not forget about you guys, but we'll talk about it when we get to that part of the show. But I mean, I don't know. It's his company. What am I going to? I mean, I don't think he was ever gone. Everyone says he was gone.
Me neither.
I think he was always involved. Come on, it's Vince McMahon.
I think it was like the Wizard of Oz, where there was a man behind a curtain for as long as he was quote unquote canceled. And here's the thing about Vince. I don't like the idea of Vince McMahon the way he was when we grew up with him, in terms of always, controlling every aspect of the product. I think that has changed, and that has made the product much better in and of itself, in that he's now having to share this responsibility. I think that's much better because Vince does still add value to the company in terms of what he knows, and it would really help a Triple H. I don't think Triple H is ready to control every aspect of the company the way Vince did. I think they should share roles. So I think as long as they're sharing responsibilities, it shouldn't be that big of a problem. Issa.
I don't care.
About Vince, about Triple H.
I don't care about. I care about Triple H. That's my bestie. Don't talk crap about Triple H. I don't care about Vince. I don't care what he's writing, rewriting. I don't care. I just want to watch the show, have fun, enjoy some good wrestling, watch big meaty men slapping meat. Talk about it.
I do feel like this is the best wrestling has been in so long. Why are we looking for things to complain about?
I don't think I think it's to use a WWE narrative. It's the AEW side has nothing. So now you're starting to see the only thing they have, because WWE's cooking, the ratings is Vince is back. He's gonna ruin the product. I've been hearing this for like 6 months now, and it hasn't happened yet.
There is a lot of people that are still watching wrestling to hate, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's with the I'm gonna watch to hate on a product? Then don't watch it, because I have been open not only on my stream and my own platforms, but here I want all wrestling to do good. This isn't just I don't want Collision to do bad. I can't watch it on a Saturday. I just can't, but it doesn't mean that I'm not invested in them succeeding. And I just can't believe that people still hate watch, or are just finding the one thing to complain about. And it's just like, everybody needs to just chill, have a drink. I don't know, get a massage, touch grass, get laid. That actually pretty, that works. But anyway,
or all of them.
Yeah, all of them. While watching wrestling, bro, you'll never hate watch again. Telling you right now.
Make sure you're not allergic to grass, but yes, then you can do all of them.
Yes. While watching wrestling, and you'll just learn to love it, man.
That is a very weird picture that was just painted, but okay, let's roll with it.
I have fun trying to do all that at once.
All right, and Alfred, any other news stories for us today?
Just real quick, Bryan Danielson looks like he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, targeting All In for his return. Get well soon.
Damn, that's too bad. It's too bad.
Is it? He went into the match with the arm half broken. He just ended up finishing it off.
Yeah.
It's still too bad. I mean, I was warned not to be careful in the puddle, and I slipped today. That's not still too bad for me.
Yeah, but a lot of times decisions are made, whether it's Bryan or whoever is making them. We knew the condition that he was in going into this match. So I hope he gets better soon, and I hope that, but I'm just going to enjoy every Bryan match that I get when I get it, because this man is not going to slow down. He's not going to care about his condition. He's just going to give us his best. And he shows like he's here for the craft. It's crazy the things that he's doing. I even loved his wife's post, because Brie said, I don't know if I should be proud of him or slap him in the face. And I'm like, exactly.
Well, yeah, get well soon. Bryan Danielson. God, that one's so hard. I get all the other names. I still call him Daniel
Bryan.
All the other names.
I call him Daniel Bryan.
But I just, for some reason, that one's so hard. We got a couple super chats I want to get to. One, Alvin Everett says Triple H should learn from HBK because he features everyone on the show and gives people gimmicks to get over. I was just talking, as I said, I hung out with Flobo Boyce earlier, a friend of the show, and we were talking about that the transition. We'll talk about NXT now here in a second, but the transition to 2.0 was rough. I'm going to say that. I'll admit that, but man, feels kind of like it was the right move. Especially, we'll talk about certain people like Carmelo Hayes. Mm-hmm. Feels kind of hard to deny. It was the right move at the end of the day.
NXT is a fun show. There's a lot of varieties. There's a lot of characters. And when you get invested to the point that you start watching them grow and develop, it really becomes a lot of fun to watch. I think all of us have to get used to this. We go through this transition with NXT every other draft. They'll call up your favorites and you have to learn a whole new character, learn how to follow. It's a toxic relationship. But when it gets to this point, it's a lot of fun. I always tell people, don't sleep on NXT. I'm glad that I agreed to cover it here, because I don't know that I will be watching it on a weekly basis if I wasn't covering covering it here. And I'm glad that I get to do it because they do put on some things that I enjoy. But a lot of times they also put on a lot of shows that feel like fillers and it's like a one-match show. And we'll get into that.
Yeah, and it's not always going to be pretty because it is more of a developmental, but I think NXT does a good job of capitalizing on FOMO, is that you start to see, at least in the black and gold era, that these guys would get called up and people would be going crazy. And I guess main roster fans would say, well, I don't know who this is. I want to be going crazy for these guys. And that helps people connect with NXT and that emotional connection you'll have to those wrestlers.
You know, I will never compare it before. Jack thinks I said the wrong thing. I will never compare it to 2015 NXT ever, right? But it feels that way. I remember there was a period of time when only a certain group of people were watching NXT, and these people will get called up, and you will see this person, and you see like, what, you haven't checked them out? They're awesome. And everybody will be like, well, where are you watching them? NXT is starting to feel that way. There's certain characters that I'll discuss with people that are not watching NXT, and they'll be like, oh, really? And I'm like, yes, you should definitely check out this and this and this. It feels like one of those sick wrestling best kept secrets. It feels that way again, where it's just a niche group of people watching it. And I always like that feeling about if you're an OG NXT watcher, you remember those days when nobody was watching it and you knew all of these people were going to make it big.
Yeah. Malik Black in the chat saying NXT is a guilty pleasure. Yeah, I'm telling you, I think that transition, they transitioned rough and lost a lot of people, but I think they've definitely been winning people back big time. And Dream Realm Studio says, thanks for the birthday gift, Issa, meaning a soaring bird can only fly for so long.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know what that means.
Kind of a bird?
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
It gets the people going. Well, as we get into the show, I do want to remind everyone to like, comment, share, subscribe one more time. If you're watching here, feel free to join in the chat or lurk and just watch. Be a lurker, lurking on and watching and reading what everyone's saying. But feel free to hop in and say hello, like Zook Enigma, Lego Brick Collector, J.R. Smith, Fat Matt, Alicia A, Rohan Yardi. Am I saying that right? And Malik and Kelvin and Papita and Julian and Baby Ice. Baby Ice always likes the bad guys, always like Baby Ice here. And everyone else in here, like Dream Realm Studios and everyone else. Just appreciate you guys being here. Huffman Elite Training, Ricky Zaldivar. Feel free to join in the chat. We're going to chat with you guys a lot. This is going to be a fun one. And again, Fat Matt and Alvin Everett, I see your comments, but we're going to wait till we get to those segments of the show and to get to those super chats. We start with Thea Hale and Tiffany Stratton having a match, and it's looking good when Dempsey tries to help Thea Hale, but Duke butts in, and she could have won, but she showed a little mercy, and that opened the door for Tiffany Stratton to get the win. Issa, Barbie got nothing on Tiffany Stratton.
I love me some Tiffany Stratton, being a big fan of her since the daddy days. I thought Thea Hale looked incredible here. I saw somebody in the chat put she's not supposed to be this good already, and I agree with that. I hated the finish. I didn't like seeing Tiffany tap. You know, it was a fake tap, but I just don't know that did a lot for Tiffany Stratton as the new champ. Where when you look at the booking of Carmelo Hayes later on, and we'll get into it later on, they made him look like $1 million. He came back from the beating. I mean, Corbin was beating him up, and he was able to come back and get a clean win. We didn't do that with Tiffany. I get it. She's a little bit of a sneaky heel, but I don't know that we're hitting all the strides that we should be hitting with Tiffany as champion right now.
You don't like the, and I guess we'll just transfer over here to Alfred. How did you feel about this one? I actually, what I loved about this ending is Tiffany still comes off as sort of the person that you're not supposed to root for by tapping but not losing. But also something I love in pro wrestling, I think WWE is figuring out, is the interpersonal relationships of groups. And Thea Hale having to decide between Chase U and Dempsey and Gulak and this kind of relationship here. What are your thoughts on this whole situation?
I love this. The whole time I'm just watching Thea Hale. Like, there are people in this territory who've been here for years who cannot do a match like this. And I thought Thea Hale was great. Listen, this match wasn't perfect, but they did a good job in a championship match on television. And they got to the point where when Thea Hale made Tiffany Stratton tap and the referee had his back turned, the crowd has gotten so into it that they popped, that they are just like, oh my God, she's supposed to win. So they really got into this match, and that's credit to both these performers. I thought they were great. I agree with Issa that I think this is another lash against Tiffany Stratton, is now, in addition to the other issues she has as champion, she's coming off as a weak champion who pretty much got beat essentially and was able to sneak it away, which is fine as a heel. But you got to have something with Tiffany Stratton. They got to like do something with her coming out of this feud, because I think this is all about elevating Thea. I think Thea really elevated in this feud, and I think Tiffany at best stayed where she was.
It just felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it just felt like in the build-up to getting Tiffany here, they were booking her so strong. There was no sneaky wins. Tiffany was looking like a badass out there and getting all of these clean wins over a lot of really talented women. And she's going to tap to Thea. It did a lot for Thea. It did a lot for Chase U. And I know that storyline is really popping right now, but this is not the Tiffany that we saw. And she was still a heel. She was still doing all of these things. Tiffany was a beast working up to becoming champ. It's like they completely changed her after putting the belt on her. And I'm not happy with the booking of Tiffany. I'm very happy with what they're doing for Thea right now. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I think, and to get to some super chats here, Fat Matt says Thea Hale is not supposed to be that amazing yet.
Agreed.
And I agree. She's so. I feel so much old. I feel so old sometimes when I look at the ages of these wrestlers. But also, Fat Matt adds, imagine how good Thea will be in 5 years.
She's already incredible.
I do agree with the thought of. My one problem with this was it did feel like Tiffany Stratton was a
second thought.
Was just a second thought. Like this story, I felt like could have been against anybody, and Thea Hale could have told that story. And I would have liked even if it was to go this way, I would have liked if Stratton did something a little more dastardly to get the win instead of just having been there and sort of taken the win, if that makes sense. Like, if she somehow got, like, maybe bumped Duke Hudson into Dempsey or did something like that to cause them to fight, so it felt like she did it instead of she just happened to be there. Now, that said, I have a feeling Stratton's probably just going to go off and have another defense, and we'll forget about this, and Thea Hale will go off and do her thing. But in any case, two incredible stars that... Again, NXT 2.0 gets a win here to our previous
I do disagree at the notion that Tiffany was a second thought. She was like a fourth thought in this segment because it was about Thea Hale and then Andre Chase coming back. By the time they ended, Tiffany was long gone. And I mean, Andre Chase got a massive pop for making his return. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, Andre Chase is one of those guys, if you go back to the beginning of 2.0, was one of the people I think everyone rolled their eyes at. We're like, oh, this guy. Like, why can't we have Tommaso Ciampa instead of this guy? But now he's one of those popular people on the show. So it's a credit to just how they've been able to make certain people so enjoyable. And that's, a teachable moment, I think.
Nice.
We get a quick video package from Ilya Dragunov, who says he basically becomes Pain.
He is so good. I can't wait to see him come back. I'm glad he's alive.
Every match he has, I'm like, well, he's going to be on the shelf for a while, but he comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any special takeaways. I've been a Dragunov fan for a long time. I always talk about how much I loved UK. Any thoughts from you guys?
I cannot say this word. This word defeated me. I cannot say it. I'm going to have to practice. It's like his new nickname or something, but at the end he revealed some word. I think it's in his native language, but I could not for the life of me pronounce it.
Umbazigbar?
That's what it, say that again?
Is it Umbazigbar? I might be saying it wrong. That's just my
I think it was that.
Yeah, it is that. It is exactly that. I love Dragunov, and I can't wait to see what kind of feud they get him into next. Because he's just up there for me as far as like how much I enjoy him in the ring and all the stuff he's been doing.
Yeah, he's like I don't know a way to say this without sounding like I'm being condescending, because I'm absolutely not. But he's like a smaller Gunther in a way.
100% condescending.
I don't know because he's that hard hitting.
You're calling him fun size Gunther. Shame on you.
Fun size Gunther is better than most wrestlers. I'll take it.
That's true. I think a lot of people would love to be fun size Gunther.
I just like what they like putting him against giants, and I think it really helps his character. He's kind of like a giant killer. That even though he's small, it reminds me of the quote that JR used to say about Shawn Michaels. He's like a bulldog. He doesn't know how big or little he really is. He doesn't give a damn.
Yes,
that's my dog.
Very scrappy dude. Kelvin with the super chat says, Issa is correct. You find a new character to connect
Wait, can you go back to the first sentence? I couldn't hear you.
I forgot to get to this super chat. That's what I think it was. Issa is correct. You find a new character to connect with, and it's like you grow together. See Thea Hale, the amount of growth from her first appearance on Level Up to now, amazing. And the fact
I remember the little vignettes they made for Thea Hale because they signed her right out of high school, and I just remember seeing that and going like, "Oh, I didn't think we would be seeing her on TV this soon, and that she would get this good so fast."
Yeah, incredible. Hashtag.
I just say things, guys. I'm sorry.
We got a segment here with Dana Brooke, and she's icing her knee when a super fan named Jordan shows up, and they have a nice conversation. But speaking of condescending, Alfred, Jordan says, "I don't care what anyone else says.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here."
I'm glad you picked up on it. It's like,
everybody picked up on that, man.
Like, hey, man, I don't care what all those people say about you, Jack. I like you.
What does that mean? What do they say?
And Dana Brooke, God bless her, she just like walks over the comment like that. Might have been like, wait, what are they saying about me? Even on Twitter?
No. Pause. Stop. Who is saying this? What? I guess they're gonna have a match or something down the road. Issa, was this just pure disrespect from Jordan?
I think it's just the new generation's way of giving compliments. You know, like it's like when we're talking about the love to hate. I feel like this new generation just does that. When they say something nice but they'll complain about something, that's how they give compliments too. You know, justice for Dana Brooke though. She doesn't deserve some of the treatment that she was getting on social media. It was ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah, I came to her defense along with a lot of other people, and it was good to see that she tweeted out like, "Okay, I get it. You guys hate me," and a lot of people came out and supported Dana Brooke, which she deserves.
Yeah, I'm glad that she's getting an opportunity. I think that NXT is going to be a great spot for her to find her groove, and because I think that's always been the problem is she just hasn't had the time to find a groove and find her lane. And I think at NXT they're very good about saying, okay, we're going to find you a lane and get you that runway speed to take off, so that when you do go to the main roster, you have something instead of just here's a person.
It drives me crazy because I feel like the people that we're seeing in NXT, Dana Brooke, Ali, Baron Corbin, are people that are very talented that are not being utilized correctly. So it drives me crazy to see them go back to NXT, do their thing over there, and then people still criticize it. It's like they put them in a role in the main roster, they get criticized. If they're in catering, people are like, "Oh, you're not utilizing these people. They're sitting in catering." You move them to NXT, and somehow you still manage to find a way to hate on this. That's why I was telling you, it's like I got to the point where I just don't care about some of the criticism because it makes no sense. I think she's gonna be great in NXT. I actually think they could even use her in the main roster. The women's storylines right now, they all suck. Rhea Ripley's not even defending this title over Money in the Bank because there's nobody for her. So there's always something to complain about, and it just gets old so fast. I like to watch wrestling to just have fun about it and criticize it in a fair way and not make it personal about a specific person. With Dana, I'm sorry, I'm ranting right now. It felt personal, and I just didn't like it.
Stream Room Studio says, "Tell him, Issa."
Yeah, you tell him.
Kaylani is referencing the social media hate. That's still not good.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that she brought it up to her like that, because it seemed kind of heelish to where it was to the point where by the end of that segment, Dana Brooke was like, "Oh, am I going to help you out?" I expect her to be like, "No, thank you."
Yeah. I'll give you a reason to not like me then. Jeez, what a jerk. Jordan, you rubbed me the wrong way, Jordan. No, I'm joking. I'm sure you're going to be great. Malik Black says, ready for Ilya versus Braun. Only men to beat Gunther.
Didn't Ilya get laid out by Braun? Was it Braun or was it Baron Corbin? Somebody laid out Ilya Dragunov recently, and I don't think they paid that off.
I think it was Braun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what we're going.
Because it was right after Dragunov and Corbin talked trash in the ring, and then when
and Braun came in and messed him up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to see Dana's getting some time, and hopefully she can make the best of it. Speaking of folks getting time, Malik Blade and Idris Inoue versus Gallus. Los Lotharios watch on. And when Gallus are in trouble, Stax hits Inoue, helping Gallus retain.
I'm so mad about all of this.
You're mad? Gallus boys on top.
No, we got a bone to pick with Stax, man.
Yeah, this is about Stax. But Jack, if you're new here, I don't think you understand how much Tony D'Angelo is the GOAT on Tuesday nights. So anything that you do, see that the problem is that here at this point, first of all, I'm sorry, Jack, but Gallus does not do anything for me. They're strong boys that know how to play pool. They like to drink and they wrestle. Yeah, so does 90% of the rest of the wrestling world. Like, give me a little something else. I thought that Stax did what he did because he wants him and Tony D to take the titles off of Gallus. I didn't think, and it's funny because I said it, Alfred, you remember? Who did I say was the first person that looked suspicious to me in this storyline? I said Stax.
He stood out like a sore thumb. Yes, we were very suspicious. And that was when Jack was on this podcast. I think that was the origin of us thinking that he was sus. But they might end up swerving everybody. I mean, the fact that they're giving it away this early, which I'm sure we're going to get into more, but Stax, his sus level is on threat orange.
You know what? Stax did the right thing. Stax has ambition.
Rat farmer.
Stax has ambition. Stax wants to be more than an underboss. He wants to be an overboss. I think he did the right thing. I think he knows Gallus boys on top, not under. That's the way to go. And what's Tony hiding in his prison cell away from all the action? I think Stax did the right thing. Stax, you got my support.
Tony got snitched on and thrown into the system despite not being proven to do anything. I still don't think they have evidence on him. I think they're just looking to set him up. And the man has been set up. I really hope that Stax comes through in the end, but this is not looking good for Tony D'Angelo and Stax.
Baby eyes, Stax is the Jey Uso of this story.
I think that's a good thing.
I'm tired of everyone defending the Don. I'm tired of everyone trying to be a Tony D family person. I'm a Gallus guy. I'm all Gallus boys on top.
Hey, can you swim? Because you're gonna end up sleeping with the fish if you can.
You better be careful. Jack, we can only protect you so much.
Where I'm from, there ain't no talking that way and getting away with it, Jack. I'm just saying, okay.
Kelvin says Stax is the rat. Issa, will you seek retribution?
Retribution will happen, Kelvin. We don't go out announcing how we support this kind of things like Jack is doing. You feel me? You'll see what happens. Let it play out, Kelvin. Let it play out.
The streets will take care of this.
Yeah, el barrio. You feel me? Alfred calls it the street. I call it el barrio. We're all talking about the same thing, except for Jack. Jack lives in witness protection program. The way you be talking.
That's why I have nothing behind me, and I'm there. Next time you see me, I have like the blurred out face and the voice modulator. Listen, I think this is why Stax isn't in prison. I think he cut a deal, and I think that it was the right move. This is how you make power plays in the underworld. You got to get rid of the person ahead of you, and you take their spot. You take the vacuum of power. Stax is going to be the most powerful person in NXT very soon. Stax, you made the right move. This is just brilliant. He's been watching Succession. He knows how to do this kind of stuff.
No, he's been watching Tekashi 6ix9ine is what he's been doing. And this is how you under the underworld. He is going to go the way Tekashi did. He better not go to any saunas.
Alfred, thank you so much. Because I'm like, I don't know what Jack is watching, but he's just, I can't.
Okay, you got me with the 6ix9ine. That's good. Alvin Everett saying Stax tweeted he's the new Don of NXT. Well,
I did not like.
Oh wait, I gotta block him. Hold on, let me find it. Anybody that betrays my favorites, they get blocked in my. I'm about to block Jack. Honestly.
As you know, once it's on Twitter, it's true.
Yeah, it's a fact.
So we'll have to watch out for that. So he's the new. He's the guy.
He put it on his bio. Disrespect. Oh hell no! I'm blocking. I don't even follow him. By the way, I just want to make sure everybody knows. I never was on that side. Look, block.
Now that he's the new Don.
Block. No, I don't think so. Not even gonna see him. He doesn't even exist to me no more.
The times they are a changing. That's how it is. He's the new boss rolling through. Stacks, I want in on the ground floor of this new business. I was there for you, Stacks. Remember.
Oh, Jack.
We got
Domi's gonna talk. Domi's gonna talk to look at that super chat. Domi's gonna unite with Tony D. That's what they're gonna do. They're at the actual former ex-cons.
Gotta get
well, I mean, the difference between Tony D and Dom is Dom was able to get out. But I think
He says Stacks is allowed to get his arse whooped at LA Fitness.
He'll be in the
sauna. Bernie, I can't get demerits. Don't give me demerits. Malik Black saying Dom might have to talk to Stacks.
Dom would never. He's done time. He knows how it is.
I think maybe they've hooked up. They're going to get a whole criminal organization across all the brands.
Dom is in London right now, about to kick some Cody Rhodes' ass.
This isn't just a family. This is a syndicate. This is accessing everything.
Next time
they've got their hands in
show with me,
all
I'm
the
gonna need them
different
to
cookie
reach out to
jars.
me first. I can't be seen with no snitch supporter on camera.
We need a name for this group, Jack. What is this name that you would give this group?
Alfred, stop.
Listen, the global syndicate of crime. They don't have a name. They're just a shadow organization that you only hear about in hushes and whispers.
They're like the anonymous, like those people that would show up and snitch on everyone wearing the mask. That's
for the Crime Stoppers.
Yeah.
They just show up in their mask and they're like, Tony did it.
And run off, but like this, like this. What are we doing? This podcast is a mess. I hope. You know what? I'm gonna text Glenn and be like, I hope you're feeling okay, Glenn.
Pepita's with me. Pepita, thank you so much.
Oh gosh.
Stitches, you guys.
The family's
you
growing.
Stop playing with the streets like this.
Team Jack Stacks, yes.
Jack Stacks. Look what's happening.
I love that actually.
Oh my god.
Oh man. So the Rat Pack.
The Rat Pack.
And it rhymes with Stacks and Jack. Oh god, this is a mess. Let's move on.
Okay. We're gonna go. We're gonna go to our next segment, which was just a brief segment with Meta 4, and Noam Dar is still bummed because Mackenzie Mitchell sucks. This was Alfred. I love Noam Dar for these little mannerisms he does. I loved this one for as simple as it was. What are your thoughts on Meta 4 and Noam Dar?
Love it. I love this whole group. Noam Dar is great. The Metaphor, it's a fun name. It's very clever calling them the Metaphor because obviously there's 4, but it is very meta to put Noam Dar with this group of people, given his relationship with Alicia Fox, because this is kind of meta for them. Hey, look who we're putting him with. So this is great. And they did mention Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. So it looks like we might get Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Lash Legends and Jakara Jackson. So let's go. Why not?
In the chat for them.
Listen, Issa, I obviously don't care about calling down the thunder. I don't care if dangerous people are after me. But if I'm Metaphor, I maybe not calling out Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey.
Agreed. But I will be a big fan to seeing them come back. I mean, Ronda Rousey on NXT will feel like a big deal, and Shayna Baszler is one of the most dominant women champion in NXT history. So I think it will be fun. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see the titles being unified and these women defend them across all brands. So let's get started with it.
And all I ask, we saw it later on tonight. All I ask is that Shayna gets her NXT music when she comes back to NXT.
Oh my God, please.
Fire music.
It was so good.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, I can't wait to talk about the main event because I at that point I was like, please have Baron win after you had that presentation again. It's so cool to see them be in their NXT form, you know?
Yes, 100%. We then got a Schism coming out, and Dyad is upset because they think Joe Gacy is flip-flopping, but there's no time to talk because Diamond Mind Your Own Business shows up, and they want to fight.
That was great.
In a loser leaves NXT match. Later, Dyad is really upset about it. This was interesting at first, but now that it's a loser leaves town match or leaves NXT match,
we know where this is going. I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't. We know where this is going, and I'm glad that they're staying there for the meantime and working what they need to work. But once you start getting familiar with the outside stories, it just kind of I lost interest. I know where this is going.
Dyad did request it was reported that they requested the release. I think it was back around WrestleMania season. Might have been the day after WrestleMania. And so we're a while ago, yeah. And so now it's looking like they're finally getting what they want. There was even a mention of you don't want to be here, or they said that they didn't want to be here and whatnot. So it looks like they're going to get their wish, but maybe they're just doing this to troll us.
I hope so.
Very true. It wouldn't be the first time. And that would be, and I don't want to go off on a whole tangent because this will open up a whole pack of worms.
Yeah.
That is the kind of blurring the line storytelling that I like.
I loved it when I will say when they were blurring the lines, when they were about to say, we remember who we were. And I'm like, oh shit, we're going back to the Grizzly Young Vets. And you had Diamond Mine come out. That I did care that right then and there because I like, okay, are they getting their release? Are we getting thrown? Are they going back to that? Like I did appreciate how they're playing this out. We'll see where it goes. But I have a feeling that's where we're going with it.
Because he did even do the voice a little bit too when he was doing the promo. He's like, and I was like, oh, he's gonna say grizzled. Yeah. I was so excited. I was like, he's gonna do it. So I don't know if that's the kind of blurring the lines that I really like. That's the kind of stuff. And so I am actually very interested to see if that is the case, if they are gone, or if this is them just playing with us, and then maybe Diamond Mine's going to the main roster. Because I also think Diamond Mine has kind of done everything they need to do in NXT at this point.
They have, but they need to stay in NXT they're not ready for the main roster. I love them, and I think they're both going to be very big stars in the main roster, but they need to be in NXT for a little longer.
I agree with you. They've got some work to do. Physically, they're there, I think. I think it's more the story. I think physically they're like the most athletic dudes.
Great. They're incredible athletes. It's like they're like wild horses. They just need to know how to be tamed, and then they can go to the main roster. But everything's there.
I love the analogy for some reason.
Horses are terrible people.
Horses are terrible people. Yeah, you don't like Clydesdales?
No, they're the scariest.
Hey, horses won me money, man. Let me tell you.
I am friends with some horses, and they are wonderful people.
Yeah, but you're a snitch. They know not to mess with you. You show your cards.
He was riding the horses like the British are coming. The British are coming.
The world's most famous snitch. We've got Lucian Price and Bronco Nima, who are apparently street team football players. Issa, I don't know anything about these guys other than these video packages. Are you interested in them? What are your thoughts on these guys coming to NXT?
I mean, we'll see where they go. So I wanted to give them a chance. One of them looks like Damian Priest from Wish.com.
Alfred, any insight to
it feels very it's got vibes of Hispanic crime time. It's just how it comes out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Latino.
Wait. Latino crime time. But I mean,
wait, what we say? Horas de crimen. Ellos son horas de crimen, okay?
Is that how it says?
Yeah.
Say that again. What is it?
Horas de crimen.
Horas de crimen.
Yeah. Oh, I love that though.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see. They can talk. They all say that, and that's very important. But I just don't. It seemed a little off and a little low rent. We'll see how they are in the ring too. And they said I think they're NIL guys.
Yeah. It didn't feel like it was the most outside of the box idea they came up with. But they looked the part. And yeah, they talked good. So I think this is a team that I'd rather see in the ring sooner rather than later at this point, though. because I don't think I need to see them playing football and dominoes and.
Hey! I'll take a good match of dominoes over wrestling anytime. I'll beat you both.
I don't want to watch two guys play dominoes.
Dominoes can get intense if they're in the right Spanish neighborhood. Trust me, you'll want to see it.
You're saying there should be a dominoes division in NXT?
Oh my god, 1000%. I will take on anyone. You know what I do when I go to my family gatherings? I said I don't know how to play, and then I beat everyone, take all their money. It's the best thing. I can't do it anymore. Yeah, I can't do it anymore. They don't fall for it no more. When I'm like, I haven't played in years. It's okay, you beat me. And next thing I know, it's like midnight and I've beaten everybody and nobody can get me out of my table. So much fun.
That's similar to what I do. I say I can't play dominoes, and then they take my money.
You prove them right.
I told you I don't know how to play. Alvin Everett says Lucian and Bronco should free Tony D.
Yeah. He needs a new family. If Stacks did flip, he needs a new family.
If they need some suggestions, go back to my stream 2 weeks ago. I pulled up the prison where Tony should be on Google Maps, and we created an entire escape route. I was going to go in there and pretend that I'm part of the cooking crew with a band. We're going to go in there. They can use my plan. I let them have it.
Please tell me your idea was to have a giant cake with a giant cartoon file in it that they were going to file through the
We had three plans because you cannot just count on one plan. You have to have multiple plans. So we had a few, Jack. I'm not going to tell you because you go and tell them on me. I know how you are.
I'm going to put my mask on and run over.
Diva is going to free Tony D and walk out.
And then disappear into the shadows. Steven says Diamond Mine modern day Steiner Brothers ability. Their ability to jump up on the top rope and lift people up off the ground is crazy. I don't know.
That's exactly what they are. The modern day Steiner Brothers. That's what they remind me more of the Steiners than Braun Breaker does.
Diablo.
Yeah. Now, I mean that in the good and bad way, and that they're very just like the Steiners are one of my favorite tag teams because they were just so wild in the ring, but they were controlled. So once they learn how to control that, they'll be great.
Yeah.
We got a quick segment of Axiom with his eyes on the Heritage Cup. Not very interested in being a tag team partner with poor Reggie. But I wish by the way, just real quick, I thought it was funny. They're like, you guys would be a really great team and your friends.
Yeah,
you'll be amazing. And Axiom was like, nah, I'm good.
They were making some crazy moves on that match the other day. I would actually like to see this as a tag team. But Reggie was eyeing the cup too, so you got to keep an eye on what's going to happen here.
And they continue to keep that thing alive that tag team partners have to fight because while they were saying why they're a good team, you guys have had a match, so you have to fight each other.
Yeah, you already did half the work. You fought each other. And we then get Dragon Lee versus Nathan Frazier for the interim Heritage Cup. I say interim because Nathan Frazier didn't beat the champion. That doesn't count. He was injured. This is an interim championship. It doesn't have the real championship. But Axiom's poking around. Frazier gets a 1 second left on the clock win. Still your interim Heritage champion, I should say. Alfred, you said you loved it. I love this too. I thought this was an incredible matchup. What are your thoughts on Heritage Cup rules and this one?
Well, they have to educate the fans because my problem with these Heritage Cup matches is I think these fans just don't understand the rules. And even when they're explained to them, it's very awkward to see somebody get pinned and then it's like they get up and they just keep wrestling and then they don't know if it's an Iron Man match. You don't know if they're in the rounds thing is what kind of throws it off. So the more they do it, the more fans seem to understand what it is. And this is the match that I think they've understood the most because they were really into it and they did a great job. And I love the last second victory. I thought they did a good job building drama. Having said that, Noam Dar should be the Heritage Cup champion. And I do think they're going to build to him getting that cup back long-term.
Yes, I absolutely agree. He's still my champ, Noam Dar.
Yeah.
But Issa, what are your thoughts on this? I loved this in UK, and I think it's one of those things. To Alfred's credit, it does take a long time to kind of figure it out. But once you figure out the strategy and stuff to it, it actually makes for a really interesting matchup. But what is your thought on the rules?
As many freaking talk shows that we have in wrestling, why haven't we just had one about explaining the rules to this cup? I think it would be a lot more interesting if people understood the rules. I watched now a few matches for this cup and I still don't seem to grasp it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm a YouTuber. I guess I could get on that and make a video explaining it, but I don't even understand it so that I can make a video explaining it. Alfred, Pro Wrestling Bits, get on it. Anyways, yeah, I feel like if the matches, if the rules were explained, people will be a little more into it because the match itself was great. That last round, they were just going crazy. I enjoyed the match itself. Just wish they would spend a little more time explaining what this cup is doing here, what it means, and how these fights work.
Dragon Lee is so good. He's so
excellent.
It's crazy how smooth he is in the ring and how fun he is to watch. Just
It's also crazy he hasn't won a single important match since he's been here.
well, he'll get there.
Yeah, he's
I
got
said what I
decent
said.
dudes.
He's
Kelvin,
made dudes for months, Alfred.
Kelvin says Frazier won because he had the finest coach in NXT, Alyssa Leon. She was a very good coach, apparently.
When he said the finest coach, I thought he was going to shoot his shot at Seth Rollins because we found out that was his mentor.
Steven giving a shout out. Stratton will main event WrestleMania someday soon.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know about soon, but she will one day, I think.
Yeah, she will.
I mean, she definitely has the talent for it, and everything else too. Overall, I think a lot of people liked the match. I will say it is a UK thing, and so much like cricket, it is very hard to understand, but we'll get there.
Yeah, but they have all these great video packages, like they're doing the thing with Money in the Bank. That's good. The Royal Rumble numbers package that they view. If you sit down and you create something like that for Heritage Cup by the numbers, people will get it.
Yeah, I agree. And you could have if you had William Regal narrate it.
Oh, there you go.
Done. Awesome. Because anything he narrates, you're like, oh, this is serious.
Is his voice allowed to be on TV? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I say try it and see how it goes.
Put him on the mask that you were talking
Put him in
about.
our snitch masks.
Yeah.
This is how the rules are. We got a quick this Raw Underground is coming to NXT.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
The greatest of all things ever made in pro wrestling besides the cinematic match. Raw Underground. But Gable continues to train Eddie Thorpe, and he will be there at ringside for their match or at stage side. Alfred, are they pretending that him and Damon Kemp aren't brothers?
I mean, they are, but he keeps making these veiled references to the fact that they are. It's almost like he's telling Eddie Thorpe, I'm going to turn on you, brother, because he's just like, hey, I'll even see Damon Kemp's parents and wave to him. And it's like, he's saying stuff like that to acknowledge that he is Damon Kemp's brother. And really, you don't want to bury Gable Stevenson by having this great wrestler come in, train this guy to lose. So if Eddie Thorpe is to lose, I think it's going to be because Gable Stevenson screws him over.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird if they're going to lean into it so much that it also, and then if they change their mind and if he turns on Eddie Thorpe and is like, he's my brother, there's going to be that party that's like, well, Eddie Thorpe looks like an idiot because they look exactly the same.
Exactly. And do you have Twitter, Eddie Thorpe? Do you read the news? Have you ever seen Minnesota wrestling? They acknowledge that Damon Kemp has wrestled from Minnesota, so all you got to do is Google his history and wait a minute, this guy's his brother.
In fact, when he first started this segment and they were looking at the iPad with the pictures, I thought Gable was just showing him pictures of himself at first. I was like, that's a weird way to start training. But Issa, how do you feel about Raw Underground? It's Raw Underground to me. I don't care if it's on NXT. It's still Raw Underground.
I'm going to call it forever Raw Underground. I can't wait. I can't wait for it.
Alvin says, if the dancers for NXT, it's Raw Underground, aren't there, I'm changing the channel.
Same.
If Shane is there, I'm crying. I'm gonna cry if Shane shows up.
That would be so great. I want it to be exactly the same. I want them to do I want Riddick Moss to be there.
I want Omos to be there. Omos at the door. The dancing girls. I want some gambling happening. I can't wait for this.
I want them to act like nothing ever happened. Like they're still just there. Like they don't even.
They were always there. We just didn't have cameras. That would be awesome.
I want people in masks. They should just treat it like the pandemic. People have their masks on and everything.
They don't even know that the pandemic's over.
Stop.
So what's it like on the outside?
We're like, wait a minute, this stuff ended?
Oh, wait, what?
I haven't seen my kids in 3 years. What are you talking about?
done with my life? Oh my goodness.
This show is a mess.
Fantastic. We got a bunch of quick segments here. Wesley and Tyler Bate and Ali, they're all fighting. It looks like we're going to get Ali versus
Ali
Bate.
is such a troll. I love it.
He is.
He is so. I'm glad he's finding his group. Speaking like Dana Brooke before, because this is great how he's just manipulating these two guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes them more interesting too. I think it's giving Wesley and Tyler Bate a lot of stuff to work with as well, because they get to kind of do the range of emotions and get heated up about stuff and not just be, I'm a defending champion and I'm trying to be a champion. You know, I thought it was great. Any quick takeaways?
When they get to that triple threat, I think it's going to be fire. And hopefully they give them the time and it's a pay-per-view match where they get like 20 minutes because they're going to tear it down.
Any thoughts, Issa?
No, it's going to be a banger. I can't wait.
How about Robert Stone trying to talk to an upset Von Wagner? I'll let you guys take it. Go ahead.
Von's growing on me, and this continued it. I think this is going to go somewhere. I think finally they found out what to do with Von.
Me too. Last week was kind of deep, and he made you sympathetic towards him, and him seemed to be struggling. I thought this was great. Short, simple. I think we're going somewhere with Braun, and I'm looking forward to it. Von Wagner, and I'm looking forward to it. And this is the first time that I've said this in a long time. Because outside of him eating people, I never really been invested into anything he's doing.
I do think, I think one of the things that was hurting Von Wagner is that we didn't have a reason to care about him, where this is at least giving us a reason to care about him.
Right.
And that's, again, going back to what makes NXT great right now is they try stuff, they give us stuff to find reason to like people. That's what they're doing here. I think it's a smart move. Kiana James and Gigi Dolan had a matchup, and of course, Gigi gets the win. But after the match, Kiana James pours paint on her, which I think is called back to Gigi being an artist.
I was thinking NXT 2.0. I was looking to be like Gigi 2.0, that they were going to like reboot her.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I guess that'd be my takeaway is I wish they explained that a little bit more. But anything, this one felt like I knew exactly where they were going from the beginning. But it's one of those things like it wasn't the most exciting, but also it was kind of good because Gigi needs to rack up some wins and stuff like that. Right. Any takeaways here?
Yeah, if somebody paints me on Mets colors, they're dying. They're not walking out of that performance center alive.
They got a match, right? If the colors match, it's cool. But when they're
no, I'm not saying that. They Mets, New York Mets colors. You could pick anything else,
colors,
please.
What about Yankees colors? Is that cool?
I'm a big Yankees fan.
I like that. If they painted me in Bears colors, it's the same thing with me.
Oh my God, pinstripe me. Pinstripe. Shut up. How are you going to say you like the Yankees and then say Red Sox?
No, I said if they put the Red Sox paint on me, I'd be curious.
It's over, right? But that's what I'm saying. Mets, Knicks colors? Yeah, that's not cool, man. That's a big heel move right there.
I wonder, like, what if it was colors of her team she liked, and she's like, oh, wait, I like these colors. Great. Cool.
But if you're going to do it to me, you got to pinstripe it. Like, you know what I mean? You don't just put navy and white. No, you have to paint the pinstripes and everything. I'll be okay with that.
It's like she just gets a little brush out, like starts painting.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, this is great. Fat Matt says the main roster people are getting rebooted well.
Yeah.
We got Roxanne Perez. This is one of my favorite moments, actually. Saying she's reading questions from people from social media, and she's like, "How does it feel to never feel safe anymore? This makes me so upset." And then, bam, she gets attacked, which made me feel like what would happen if Issa was ever in a room near me. I'd be like, Issa can't do anything. Ah!
We'll be like, Issa's out today. We're here with Jack Farmer, and then Issa just jumps into the frame.
Right. That would be hilarious, actually.
So I love this to me, and Alfred, I want your thoughts first. Just perfect, like very simple way to keep a rivalry heated up.
Oh, I love that. I found out about this. I was on YouTube Shorts procrastinating, and this came on my feed, and I kind of fell for it until they started fighting each other, but I thought it was very well done. It was very realistic.
Yep.
Any extra takeaway from that, Issa?
Nope, I have nothing.
This is where a good place to get in Fat Matt's comment here. Thank you for being patient. NXT women's division is way too good to only have one title when the men have 4 now with the cup. Do you guys
valid point? That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Do you guys think they need another title?
They should play around. They do a lot of experimenting. Have a women's intercontinental title. It doesn't have to be 2 world titles or whatever, but I do think the women, especially in NXT particularly, because Issa and I completely agree with you, the women's storyline on the main roster aren't all that great. Like, they're finally getting around to developing a Bianca Belair character after 3 years of her just being a star because she's a star. But with NXT, you've got several women's storylines that are A storylines, B, C, so they're doing a good job putting them in storylines. Now you got to put titles to them.
Shout out to Bianca and Montez for renewing their vows in Vegas. Yeah, her Instagram posts have looked incredible. Congratulations to them.
But yeah, I think I would say you shouldn't need extra titles you shouldn't have them if you don't need them. But I do feel like NXT's division is just so deep right now with so many.
You can build a good grudge match. Like, NXT used to have matches that were not for the title that still matter just as much as the women's championship matches. I remember back in the day.
Yeah. And then before we get to the next segment, I'm going to read this one real quick. Kelvin saying, I can see Issa bicycle kicking Jack like Lash did to Nikita a few years ago. It'll probably happen, unfortunately, unless I can get Stacks to take care of Issa first.
Try me.
Alvin Everett, though, you get the award for most patient super chat. Thank you so much for waiting this whole time. Alvin says, I still think JC Jane is the best.
Thank you, Alvin.
Going to the I love how she's letting everyone know how lame it is that Lyra Valkyria is just eavesdropping on people.
Right.
And she does it again, eavesdropping on conversations she's not a part of, and then attacking people out of nowhere. Poor JC Jane, the victim here, Issa.
Yeah, but we got to set up some matches, so you got to do what you got to do.
Of course, Rhea gives her seal of approval, Alfred, to Rhea or to Valkyria.
Yeah, Rhea was on the show a couple of times, and it almost seems like Rhea requested that she do this because this didn't really fit into her character. She's a heel. She had a great cameo before, and she just showed up was like, Lyra's a badass. So it seemed like she just wanted to put over Lyra Valkyria, which is cool.
Which I think actually makes sense because they go back obviously to UK.
They go back to NXT UK.
Which is I think that's cool when people go out of their way.
I think Rhea has always done, when it comes to NXT UK, you can tell it has a special place in her heart. I know that what you're saying, Alfred, with the character, but even when in Media Week, she, as soon as you brought up NXT UK, she just completely changed the vibe and talked about how proud she is of where this, the non-existent division now is such a huge part of NXT and the main roster. So I didn't feel like Rhea saying that felt out of character. I also can see her acknowledging a fellow badass because she's not afraid of anyone. So I don't see Rhea saying, not being able to say, oh, this person is so awesome, because she'll still beat her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I only say that because it's WWE.
No, I know
what you're saying. The heels together and the babyface together.
Right.
But yeah, no, I completely, it makes sense because she's from NXT UK and the bond.
It's just really funny because if you go back and watch her interviews and have anybody bring up NXT UK, her whole vibe changes and she just brags about how far they've come. And it's fun to see her still be supportive of that, especially if, like you said, we speculated she requested this specific spot to put this person over. Rhea Ripley has a lot of pull right now. She's the cool kid in the main roster. So getting a nice acknowledgement from her goes a long way.
Absolutely. Jay Patterson with a super chat says, how do you know Vince is back when you have that fresh out of the hood black team with the probability of a rap gimmick?
I'm telling you, man. I was watching this. Is this 2005? What are people watching?
He went there. Jay Patterson, chill, man. Chill.
Shout out to Jay Patterson.
Yeah.
So we get to the main event here.
Let's go.
Rhea Ripley has strong words for Carmelo Hayes, not as supportive of him as she was of Valkyria, but we get Baron the Lone Wolf Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes, and I've got a lot of stuff to say. I'm going to ask first, Issa, do you think before the match, Baron Corbin put on his Lone Wolf pants and whispered to himself, they still fit?
Jack, ask that to Alfred, please.
Why me? No, he asked you.
No, he could. I'm passing it.
I'd like an answer.
I don't think that's how it went.
Come on, you see, you put him on. It's like they still.
I will say something. Yeah, we all know there's no better feeling than when you put on your skinny jeans or your skinny pants and they fit just fine. So good for Baron Corbin if that's how it was. That is a very good empowering moment for anyone.
Yes, but in all seriousness, though, great stuff seeing the Lone Wolf back. Since you got asked the hard hitting journalistic question about the pants, what were your thoughts on seeing old Lone Wolf back?
I love that. As soon as I heard the motorcycle hit, I was in my feelings. That is the best Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin has done a lot of things in the main roster, but he's never been presented this way. And I thought the match kicked ass. I thought he looked like a badass, but it put me in a very weird situation. I don't know how you guys felt about it, because at that point I was like, let Corbin win. This is a great opportunity. Just freaking rebuild him, present him back that way, and just do something that nobody's expecting. Now it feels like we're going to have to go back to the drawing board with him. But at the same time, I was in that position where it's like, Melo just became champ. He doesn't miss. He's putting on bangers every week. So I also didn't want to see him lose. But I think it would have been very beneficial for Corbin to walk away with the win, especially the way he was dominating Melo for the majority of the match.
Yeah, that's what made me kind of think that Melo might lose, in that the story was essentially Melo would get a couple of moves together and Baron would cut him off and just destroy him for long stretches of this match. I thought it was a very good main event match. There were only technical things where because they haven't worked together all the time, so they missed a couple of spots. But as a match, I thought this was a very good match. There was a lot of intensity there. And this NXT Baron Corbin, it's like he got into different skin. Like, I couldn't explain it. He had like the Baron Corbin 2015 look in his eyes. And my favorite part about that gimmick was when they just count during his matches. So I was getting a little nervous that, like, are they going to start counting and he's going to beat Carmelo in like 19 seconds or something? But no, this is really good.
He was wrestling with a purpose tonight, and we haven't seen that Corbin in so long.
He was just beating the tar out of Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, he was.
And
it was great.
I mean, there was a moment where he was like dropping like fists and elbows on Carmelo. I want to say when he was like on the announce table.
That didn't
and
break.
It was like, dude, he looks like he's just destroying Carmelo Hayes.
And commentary sold it so great, because you heard commentary said, I just looked in his eyes. Melo's not here anymore. I love that. I love that commentary was selling it. But Baron Corbin woke up in the morning. He pissed excellence and chose violence today. You can just tell.
It was great to see him back. I think he's one of those guys that I get what you're saying, Issa, about him. Maybe would have been great if he won, but I think there's no one better at bouncing back from a loss than Corbin is. I think Corbin he'll find a way into the next rivalry or whatever he's doing, probably Dragunov, because they had words before, and he'll get right back into the swing of things.
I wouldn't mind him and Braun.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
The problem is they're both heels, apparently. But I don't know, because Corbin's promo last week almost came off baby faces of him just talking about all the things that he's done and how he's been able to. If somebody else mentions that Corbin is the last guy to pin Roman, I swear to God.
Did you know that Corbin is the last guy to pin Roman Reigns?
I did not know that. I learned something new every day. Thank you, Minish.
Fat Matt saying Corbin sold his butt off. Yeah, and
Corbin was great in this match, man.
Alfred, take it away.
No, I just thought Corbin was really good. I mean, we've known he's good. And you talk about Corbin bouncing back from losses. That's pretty much what he's had to do for the last few years. He's bounced back from losses. He's bounced back from Money in the Bank losses, bad characters, bad theme music, bad gimmicks. And the guy, he's like Cockroach Corbin. Like, that should be his next gimmick. Not Happy Corbin or Baron. He's Cockroach Corbin. He just keeps surviving.
That's messed up, bro.
It is, but it's so true. He has, they talk about making chicken salad out of chicken poop. I mean, that's what he does. Like, Corbin is so underrated. I hope he gets his flowers before it's all said and done, because he is so good at being a bad guy, so good in the ring, so good at. I'm a huge Corbin fan. I'm all in on Baron Corbin. So I was really glad to see him do so well here. The story. Oh, by the way, Malik saying, I love Trick hitting on Rhea. Yeah,
Trick was shooting a shot, man.
Trick is hilarious, dude.
Trick is the best. Trick is the best.
I love Trick. He's so funny.
He's awesome.
I'd be down for Trick going anywhere and doing anything. They can put him anywhere, just being himself, and I'm gonna. He cracks me up every time. But Carmelo,
oh, here it is, the Lone Roach.
No.
I'm sorry, Jack.
But I don't get to talk about Carmelo Hayes very often because I'm not on here. This is the guy. Carmelo Hayes, are you kidding me? This guy, like I said this on the Raw after show because he was on Raw. He just moves through space differently than other people do. Like his moves are so smooth and they hit perfectly every time. And he's so athletic, and it's just I've never seen anyone move like him. It's weird. Like that fade away leg drop thing he does. Like it's like he moves at a different, like his body moves at a different speed. It almost seems like, you know what I mean? Not like it kind of like floats, but not in slow motion. I don't know how to explain it, but when he bounces off the ropes, Carmelo Hayes is going to.
It's him.
We talk about future WrestleMania guys. I think he's going to be one of the best all time when it's all said and done. I think you're going to have people are going to be the same way you can see Shawn Michaels clones today, or people who clearly watch some other like Hardy Brothers clones and things like that. You're going to see Carmelo Hayes clones in 10, 20 years are copying him and doing his thing. I think he's got it all. He is the embodiment of what the future of WWE looks like. If I could buy stock in wrestlers, I would sell all my stock in every other wrestler and dump it all in Carmelo Hayes right now.
Yeah, he's literally him. And there's something about I always talk about a baby face, like not like following through with the promises and their words in promos or whatever, but there's something about Melo with the Melo don't miss, and Melo is him, and you buy it. You just buy it. I love the Target, Corbin Target on the entrance, and followed by the Melo don't miss. Like when he says, he is him, you buy it, and that's a big deal. I think now Charlotte started using the I am her, and that's somebody else that I buy it from too. Like I love that saying, but I think you have to back it up, and I think Melo does back it up.
Yeah, and his promos too. Like he has a cadence that I think sets him apart from everybody else. But like he doesn't sound like he's reading, but he also doesn't sound like the way he speaks is different than every other wrestler speaking.
And he's cool. You want to listen to him. You're gonna buy what he's selling you on those promos. They don't feel forced. And the Carmelo is just not missing right now. No pun intended. And I hope they don't move too fast with him and to take him to the main roster. That's why I told you I felt in a weird position today, because when I saw Corbin with that presentation, I was like, man, it would really do wonders for Corbin to win tonight. But do I want to see Carmelo be the sacrificial lamb here? No. So that I was very torn when this match started. And then you saw how Corbin was just getting all this offense, and I was like, are they gonna like you said, Alfred? I was like, are they gonna fucking squash Melo? Like, don't do this.
Melo's great. There's a reason Shawn Michaels has taken a liking to him, and it sees himself in Carmelo. You talk about Shawn Michaels clones. I think Carmelo's in that category. Not that he's ripping off Shawn Michaels, but he does so many little things that remind me of Shawn Michaels, like how good of a champion he is, even that the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Great stuff all around. We end with Braun Breaker yelling at Shawn Michaels in his office. And it says we're going to find out what it was all about next week.
Oh my God, Braun Breaker has lost it. I love this unhinged Breaker.
I don't think Shawn Michaels is even in that office.
Me neither. We never saw him. We never got to see Shawn. He's probably just yelling at some producer.
It's just some like cleaning person, emptying the trash.
He left 2 hours ago, bro. What are you doing?
Braun just knew that the camera guy was out there. Like, I gotta look cool. Yeah.
You better not say anything, Shawn.
That's right. And then I told him, what do you guys think we're going to find out next week? Alfred, you're the newsworthy guy, so I'm going to guess you already know what's happening.
No, I'm intrigued. I don't know what Braun is so angry about. I think this is going to be the beginning of the end of him in NXT, is that they're doing the thing with him and Authority, so he's going to say that he's been mistreated. So I think he's going to announce that it's a farewell tour, that he's going to fight Ilya Dragunov for somebody. If he loses, he leaves town.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
That kind of feels like what it's going to be. That's a lot of people who might be leaving soon then. If Dyad
it's moving season, baby. Moving season. I just got a new apartment. I'm moving myself. We all got to move.
I guess it is. Well, I think that does it for us. But before we go, I always like to let everyone have a chance to put themselves over, brother. Issa, you go first. Where can we find you online? And what were your overall thoughts of the show, and why she's going? Everyone in the chat, let me know your overall thoughts of the show.
I thought the show was a little 50-50 for me. Last week, it felt like was it last week when we had the Seth Rollins match? Yeah. It felt like a one-match show. Tonight felt a little bit more fulfilling, but there was a couple of things I felt like filler in there. But I always enjoy NXT. There's always good wrestling in NXT. You're not gonna have a horrible time watching NXT. You guys can find me here on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can find me on Lucha Libre Online. Also, my own YouTube channel, NYC Demon Diva, across all social platforms. And yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm taking over the world, basically.
You really are. I recommend everyone follow Issa. Check out her Twitch stream with the live watch-alongs. Those are always fun. But Alfred, where can the world find you, and what were your thoughts on the show? Overall.
Love this. I like the show. I thought there was a lot. This is something you're going to get, and I'm fine with NXT doing this. They do a lot of segments, and that's how they get creative, is they just try out a lot of things, which I'm all for, especially in WWE. But some of the segments did not work tonight in terms of all the things they did, and that's fine. Right. And I thought the main event was very good. You can find me on Twitter at This Is Nasty. Right now on Forbes, they have a story on AEW Collision's number. I just posted a new bit about why Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay was not the match of the year, was not even Kenny Omega's match of the year, was not even the match of the half year, was not even the best title match of the year. There were a lot of issues I had with it, and I posted this on Pro Wrestling Bits. So subscribe to Pro Wrestling Bits.
Something to watch when we get done here. It's a legit great YouTube channel.
Go check that out, because look, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to go, I totally agree, this guy's got it, or you're going to get all upset, and that's what's fun about pro wrestling, is getting all upset.
That's what I love about the community. Exactly. They do comment a lot, and we have a lot of great conversations. And what I love about the people who follow me, not all of them agree with everything I say, and I learn a lot from them, and vice versa. We have a lot.
You have a great comment section. I am very proud of my community as far as the live chat goes, because I'm more of a live streamer where you post videos, but you have a couple of resident trolls too that drive me crazy.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be the trolls too. Yeah. And I apologize for in advance if you see any trolls there, but they're there.
Remember what I was telling you earlier about the people that love to hate? I keep getting a hate comment on my videos, on my streams, over me drinking Fiji water. I'm like, now you're picking on the brand of water that I prefer. Like, what is happening? Like, these people, they need to get a life.
They're not classy.
No.
I only drink water with bubbles in it, so.
You would too? Good job, Jack. Thank you. Please create your YouTube channel so people can like throw a comment on you and leave me alone.
People agree with me at every opinion I have. I've never been disagreed with. But you can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media and see all the stuff I'm working on. I'm doing a lot of Wrestling Inc. this week. I was on today, but I'm also going to be on tomorrow for AEW coming in. So you can't get away from me, Isa. So check me out there. Make sure to follow at Wrestling Inc. as well. You can get all the good news there. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, especially if you're in the live chat. Dylan Matthews, Papita, Lego, Ricky, Tommy O, Jeffrey Sullivan, Fat Matt, Baby Ice, stalking you with the dog GIF every single time.
Always the dog, always.
Arthur, Dream Realm, Kelvin, and Noon Mountain, and everybody else. I can't go all the way back through the list, but I appreciate all of you so much for being here. That does it for us. We'll see you tomorrow for AEW Dynamite's after show on Wrestling.